Hello guys, welcome to DigiLabs. I hope you guys are doing well, and you guys have learned a lot of things in this placement series and the kind of videos that I'm posting, right? For all those new viewers who are watching this video right now, okay, I would recommend you to go and check out some of my previous videos. Okay, these were all mentioned about interview, the top interview questions and the need of interview skills, right? So I think I have discussed a lot of things on that. So you guys need to check out them. The link for all those videos will be provided in the description. You need to click on that and you need to follow those videos as well. Friends, we have been discussing a lot about interview and interview related stuff like learning interview skills and the kind of questions, right? So today's agenda or today's topic is about what you should do or what you should remember on the day of your interview. Means once you are set with everything, okay, once you are ready with your resume, you are ready with your you are done with your aptitude GED and technical round, and you are ready with everything, okay, and you are going for an interview. So what should you take care of? What are the small things that you should take care of so that you do not make mistakes on the day of an interview, right? Yeah, so that's the whole topic of discussion for today. Let's get started with it. So I'm going to talk about some basic, some very useful tips that could help you, and you must remember these tips. Okay, these tips are important to you, right? So these tips can really help you you know to be good on the day of your interview, to feel confident. And these are some kind of tips. If you follow, okay, you can avoid the major mishaps or major mistakes which most of the students commit on the day of interview out of excitement or out of nervousness, right? Yeah, so that's the whole idea of bringing you these interview tips. So the first tip, what would be the first tip to me? So when I talk about the first tip is nothing but know your company, right? I think in my previous some of my previous videos, I often spoke about knowing the company, right? Because when the interviewer asks you when the interviewer asks you, tell me something about the organization, or tell me something about why should I hire you? What do you know about the company? And at that time you are blank, right? So that would not create a good impression, right? So what you have to do is you have to know the company. So you should be pretty well acquainted with the company and the type of work it is doing, and you will need to do your homework, right? And know something of the corporate culture, their internal systems, how the business history, how the business is working in that company. You need to also check their annual reports and the kind of mission statements that this company have. Okay, everything, all these details will be provided to you if you visit their company's website, or you can check the the Wikipedia page of that company. Okay, you'll get a lot of details. You can do this using several resources, including company brochures, pamphlets, annual reports, newsletters, and company's website. Okay, these are the sources for you how you can do research about the company, right? You can check out the company brochures, the pamphlets, the annual reports, the company's website. That these are the these are the places where you can get some details about the company, right? So please do research, okay, before you go for the interview. It's very important. All right, let's go ahead. Let's see some other tips. So the next tip that you it's important and that you should remember is, yes, confirm important details. You're right, it's very important. So confirm important details. When I say important details, is the venue, the where the interview is going to happen, or I am trying to say is interview location, right? Sometimes what happen is, like, when you're not sure about the company's location, okay, you will be trapped in traffic, and you'll be not be able to trace the exact location, and because of that you may arrive late on the interview premises, right, which is not good, right? You should be very punctual on the day of your interview. It's always advisable and suggestible to reach 15 to half an hour early, okay, at your interview location, right? Yeah. So what could you do is confirm the times and arrive at least 15 minutes early to create a good first impression. It's important. Travel to the interview location a day before using the same method of transport. Okay, you can also travel one day before to the interview location to ensure that you will be on time and memorize the name of the interviewer, right? This is also important. Please, all these details will be provided to you in your invitation letter, okay, that is given to you in the mail or message, right? You can check out that and you can trace the location of the company and the job. No. And also please remember the name of the interviewer or the person, the point of contact to whom you have to point when you are going for the interview. That's important, right? Okay, let's go ahead with some next tips. Okay, so the next tip, uh, what it says is switch off your mobile phone. I hope this is a important tip, but most of people, they actually do it, right? It's kinds of common sense, right? When you're going for interview, you do not want any sort of distractions or any kind of disturbance to be there on the time of the interview, right? Yeah, and it also doesn't create a good impact when you're talking to your HR and suddenly a phone rings and you get calls and all messages and all unnecessary distractions. So in order to avoid such situations, in order to come out of those embarrassing moments, it's always advisable and requested that to switch off your phone, okay, and instead of putting it in silent, it's better to switch off your phone, okay, and try to avoid using mobile phones when during the time of interview or when you're sitting for the interview at the premises, right? Yeah, it is kind of it unnecessarily distracts your mind, and you lose your focus, right? So please, it's always advisable to avoid using mobile as much as possible on the day of your interview. All right, so let's go ahead with the next points. So the next point that is important is no wet hands when you are shaking hands with the interviewer or the person, right? So these wet hands are nothing but no wet fish hands. So these wet hands are nothing but the signs of your nervousness, right? So shake hands warmly and with a firm grip. Yeah, that's important. If you're sweating, it's always advisable to carry a handkerchief, wipe up your hands ahead, okay, before entering the interview room, right? And do not feel nervous. It's not see, it's an interview, right? So you have to be confident and you have to carry a good personality. If you're nervous, if you're confused and all these things, that's not going to work out on the day of the interview, right, and in the interview room. So feel happy, do a little bit of breathing exercises, do some sort yoga exercises, carry a water bottle, okay, drink a little bit of water so that you feel calm and relaxed, okay, before going to the interview room, right? Okay, let's go ahead with some next tips. So the next tip, which is important, is nothing but ask questions. Yes, this is important. Most of us, okay, when you sit for interview, okay, you may get a chance where the HR would ask you, do you have any questions to ask, right? So that's your time, that's your a chance where you can show that you're how genuinely interested you are into the company and the company's policies, and how genuine you are with this job, right? So please do ask the questions, okay. It is a time for you to impress the interviewer with your research skills about the company and list of our planned questions about the role, right? So you need to plan for this question. This is a very important question, and it's definitely to it's one question that can be asked to you at the end of your interview, right? So yes, please do ask question. Do not say anything as such as no when you get such questions, okay. Cool. So let's go ahead with the next tip. So the next tip is all about the body language. Yes, not just your communication is important. It's also important to carry a good and healthy body language, right? That's important. And how we do that? Don't smoke. Do not slouch. Relax, relax, and look at people as you speak to them. Avoid one word answers. Okay, ask questions if something seems unclear, right? It's always important. If you are not, if you're not sure with any kind of question, you can always ask the HR, okay, to give explanation. He would definitely provide you, or he would definitely ask the question again. But yes, do not be overconfident, and do not interrupt the HR when he's asking question to you. And how should you give the answer? Your answer should be very simple and honest, right? You should be genuine with your answer and honest. Okay, let's go ahead with the next tip. So the next tip, which is important and which you guys need to follow, is nothing but the job offer. Yes. So what do I mean by job offer? Means finally when you accept this job, you have you have done nothing but you have given your word, right, in a verbal contract to the HR that yes, you are going to join the company. And in case if you have any doubts, okay, ask for some time. You can always think about. You can take time. You can ask for 24 hours time, okay, by which you will respond and stick to it, right? So obviously the offer letter, once the once you clear the interview, if the HR will ask you to sign some contract, or the HR will ask you to join. There could be some doubts which can pop up in your mind regarding the service agreement and all these things. So if you need time before joining the company, you can always ask the HR. You can request for your confirmation, right? He will definitely give you time. Okay, so please take care of these seven tips which are important to you on the day of interview. Also, you should dress smart, you should look smart, you should carry a good personality and be confident, right? These are all ideal elements which are important when you are going for interview. Okay, and yeah, having good knowledge of your subject is also important. Okay, having good communication skills is also important. Maintaining eye contact when you're talking to your HR is also important. And yes, you should have thorough knowledge and be positive when you're answering all kinds of questions. So to give up to you all the summary of the things, okay, let us just quickly summarize the thing. Okay, I'm going to put it as a summary so that you have an idea, okay, what are the things you have to remember, okay, and how can you make your interview a successful interview. So for that, let's state it as a summary. So summary of events, right? So what could be the summary of your interview? What things you should remember when you are going for an interview? So the first thing that you should remember when you are going for your interview is nothing but, all right, so let's put it this way. So the first thing that you should remember is understand the interview process. It's very important, right? You should know what's there, what's happening, or what's going to happen in the interview. You must be ready with that. And how can you get the interview process details? It will be provided to you in the job description, or the brochure which will be provided to you on the interview location, right? So understand the interview preparation, prepare accordingly, and be active and alert, right? So let's go with the next point that is important to summarize. So assemble and consider previous interview experience. Yes, it is also important. See, we all should learn from our mistakes, right? So what mistakes you have made in your previous interview, please do not carry or do not make such mistakes, or do not repeat such mistakes again. Okay, it's important to do some introspection. It's important to do some kind of analysis about your interviews. Okay, so that you avoid such mistakes, okay, in your future interviews, right? So let's see the next point. The next point says that research the company. It's important, right? You know, knowing the company is important. So how could you do research? You can always check out their website. You can check out the brochures, pamphlets, the Wikipedia link. Okay, all these are the sources where you can get information about the company. Rehearse your answers before the interview. Yes, yes, it's important. If you have prepared some answers of your own about the questions that can be asked to you, so yes, you can rehearse them. Yeah, and try to avoid distractions. Keep your focus on the interview only, and so that it helps you to be confident and you don't get nervous at a time of interview. So the next one is dress personally and look at part. So look the part. So do not go in a casual dress. Okay, be smart, dress smart. Okay, guys can wear shirts and formal shirts and formal print. If you want to carry tie, you can carry a tie, and grooming should be good. Girls can wear churidars and dupattas and all, and do not carry over makeup or any kind of shiny objects to avoid that. Okay, and one more thing is that you should be punctual on the day of your interview. Do not get late at the interview venue because that's important. If in case if you're not sure with the interview location, it's always advisable to go go and see the interview location one day before the interview. Assess your competition. It's also important, right? You should know who are the people who are sitting with you in the interview, right? Yes, what you should know what's their plan, what's their strategy, how they are preparing. And if you know your competition, you'll be well aware, right? So what things you need to work out, right? So before going for the interview hall, okay, try to assess your competitors, who are they and how what kind of people they are. Okay, and accordingly prepare your strategy. Describe the situation, the task, the actions taken, and the results achieved, right? So when you're talking about any your strength or your event, about your events from your past, so describe the situation, describe the tasks, the action taken and results achieved, right? So three or four things you have to take care of. Okay, when talk about the situation, talk about the task that you have done, the actions, okay, and the result that you have achieved. It also comes this points proves handy when you are talking about your projects, right? Or internship. So please mention your internship or project in this manner. Talk about the situation, why you created that project. Okay, what are the things you need to do to build that project? Okay, what actions you carried for making that project, and what were the results achieved? Maintain good eye contact and good eye contact with your interviewer. It's very important. If you don't maintain eye contact, you will look nervous or confused, so that will not give a good impression of yours in the interviewer's eyes. So try to avoid looking somewhere. Okay, look into the HR, give a gentle smile and present yourself. That's important. Listen carefully to your interviewer's question. It's also important. Okay, yes, if you are interviewing, if you're giving a reply to something, okay, be careful. Try to listen to his try to understand what he's saying. Access Try to assess him and then come up with your answers. That's important, right? We don't want that you fumble on that time or you feel nervous about anything, right? And keep your answers positive. That's important, right? Keep your answers positive. Do not go into any kind of negative sentences that would not give a good impact of yours. So avoid that. Try to try to be confident. Try to be confident. That's important. And if you are confident enough of your interview, and if you're confident enough of your uh, what questions, then only you proceed with the. If in case if you're not sure with any kind of question, it's always advisable to be honest and request the HR or apologize to the HR that you don't have accurate answers for the questions. Then once your interview is done, if the interviewer asks you to ask any question, yes, you should always have a question for yourself, right? And there you can talk about your job, your next position, your next rounds of interview, or your interest level. That shows that you have interest about the interview and the job, right? And if you want to conclude the interview, okay, once your interview is done, so do not forget to shake hands with the HR, okay, smile and shake hands, and express your pleasure of having the interview with the person, right? So that's the whole process, that's the whole way of, you know, concluding your interview on a positive note. These are all the green flags, these are all the important important what elements which are important, and you should remember them on the day of your interview, okay? Yeah. So if you are okay with all this, then we can conclude our today's discussion. Yes. Yeah. So I think we have covered all the things that we have to discuss about your interview, right? We started on with what is interview, okay, why we need interview, and then we went on to the most common questions that can be asked to you, including the top 10 questions, okay, and then we also went to some commonly read yet rarely asked questions. Then we also move on to some interview skills, okay, which are important, some do's and don'ts of interview. So all these, I have given enough suggestions to you, okay, how you can prepare for an interview and how can you be the best and bring and give the best on your interview day, right? Yeah. So do practice these points. Do practice. Try to try to go through all the points which I have discussed in this video and my previous videos. You can check out this playlist, the important interviews tips in my channel Daisy Labs. Okay, you'll get a lot of ideas related to interview. And yes, if you like this video, please do raise your thumbs, okay, and share it with your friends, because do not confine this knowledge only to you. Share it with your friends, okay? Practice these interview skills with your friends. Form up your team, conduct mock interviews, because through practice only you can become perfect. And one more thing is like do write comments, because writing comments would help me to understand your expectations and whether I'm doing good or not, right? And if you have any request that you want to make, okay, and if you want me to make a video on that, so please do write it down in the comment section. I will read your comments and then I will come up with my next video. Then one more thing is like I'm going to in these placement series, my next coming videos would be about knowing the company. So I would be discussing about all the companies, okay, that you may be applying for, like TCS, Accenture, Tech Mahindra, Infosys, IBM. Okay, so here onwards we'll be looking at the company's profile. Okay, so that it helps you to understand the company, the placement procedure, and the work that company carries. All right. Yeah. So that's all I have for you in today's video. Thank you so much for watching me, and thank you. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel so that you get more updates on my interview, on more updates on the interview related videos. Okay. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye.